You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take it. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. They try not to play black athletes. So this week, they had a story about Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray just got a new contract extension, and Lamar Jackson is looking for one, but I think he stopped. And for the last maybe week and some change, there's been these negative reports about both of them. Maybe 2 weeks, because you could say it's Kyler Murray. It had been going for a little bit. And since I'm not like on a sports network and I'm just on YouTube, I can say these things. They try not to pay black athletes. Think about, you don't hear these negative stories when white players are up for an extension or do money. You're not going to hear, like when T.J. Watt held out. You're not going to hear the same thing about T.J. Watt that you would about Le'Veon Bell, who was, and Le'Veon Bell had some issues there. Or Antonio Brown, at the time, or Santana Holmes, but the same organization, or even Big Ben. But like if Cooper Kupp asks for a contract extension, you're not going to hear the same type of stories about Cooper Kupp. And the reason why I put Lamar Jackson as the face of this video, because Lamar Jackson is a high character guy, like you would consider a TJ Watt or Cooper Kupp. And that's not because those guys are white. That's because they're really professionals, and they're in all intents and purposes, they're good dudes. So when you got a guy like Lamar Jackson, who's the same thing, but he just happens to be black and he happens to be a quarterback, and now you got to come up with something negative to say. And we're talking about a guy who won the MVP of the league not that long ago. So here we go. He don't deserve this money. Now, for all the time when I watch sports commentaries, you got to think. I think about it like this: there's the predominant sports basically are football and basketball. Baseball is a professional sport, but they rarely cover it. And that's predominantly a white and now you say Hispanic league. So they're not dumping on these guys getting paid these contracts at all. They have situations, they get in trouble, but you don't see them in the news. The NHL, hockey league. The story that I saw the most recently was about the black guy who's the hockey player who got into gambling problems. Everybody else, not a big deal. When they get these $100 million contracts, $60 million contracts, $80 million contracts, nobody says a word. Nobody. NASCAR or racing, like the biggest racing story recently was how they basically screwed Lewis Hamilton out of his victory, and everybody was cool with it. Okay. Because he was, because black dude, white dude. But nobody says, oh, they're making this amount of money and that amount of money. That doesn't happen. So now to take this a step further, they try not to pay black athletes because there's always something that comes up. But see, we don't want to talk about all the incompetent white people that get paid, all the subpar white athletes that get paid. Let's use football, for example. The only person I can think of who gets flack is Kirk Cousins. And they're going to pay Kirk Cousins. And how you keep getting paid so much? And hey, Kirk Cousins is not that good. $100 million. Wow. But, would you want a person who's won the MVP of the league or Kirk Cousins? Would you rather pay Kirk Cousins or Lamar Jackson? Which one would you rather do? 9 times out of 10, there'll be less issue if you pay Kirk Cousins. There'll be less issue. You're not going to hear all of these crazy things. One of my coworkers, we was talking about it as far as players getting paid. and is in coaching. And I was like, part of the issue is a lot of the times coaches get paid for not doing a good job, and their coaching staffs get paid for not doing a good job, and you blame these players, predominantly the black ones, because, oh, they don't have good habits. Well, think about it. They got recruited to a school because it was a big school. They weren't coached up at those big schools. They got them there because of their talent. They threw them on the field and was like, go get it. Go do what you do best. I'm going to just take the credit and get paid for it. So then they get to the pros, and it's a lot of people like that the same way. That's why you see people who have, that's why the vast majority of people that they bash or talk bad about, they need to learn the game. You never ask the question. They went to all of these big schools or all of these great coaches, but then when they become a professional, they need to actually learn the game. But you don't question these coaches getting paid tens of millions of dollars a year. You know, excuse my dog, he's watching Elmo. But they try not to pay the black athletes because now because he has to learn the game, we have an issue. And it's a problem. So at the end of the day, tell me, how often do you see baseball players, NHL players, other white NFL players, or you're not going to hear this about, you know, Jokic or Luka or any other white basketball player, like he don't deserve to get paid. You're not going to hear that. You know, he deserved it. He did this. He did that. You should overpay him. That's what you're going to hear. Completely different thing. Well, you know, but tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.